everyone's doing it, so I'm going to do it. Let's build our North versus South 11. But before I kind of do that, I want to explore a little bit the idea that Todd Bowley's put forward. He was discussing a North versus South, a bit of fun, something that would raise money and help the football pyramid. I don't really want to go into all that detail because, listen, I imagine it generate a lot of money with the clubs and their players going forward. Really not want to have some of that. I don't know. I think it'd be an amazing charity event. I don't know. I really don't know anything. I'm just kind of speculating here. But I do kind of like the idea. And the reason I kind of like the idea is because I sometimes think in football, we don't have enough, what would you call it? Like, let me put it this way. I'm an Arsenal fan. So I so often watch Arsenal with that kind of nervous tension of, we need the 3 points, we need to win, and blah, blah, blah. The season's so important, all this stuff. I rarely actually enjoy the football till kind of like after I'm pretty confident we're either playing well or definitely going to get the win. That might just be me. But I feel like I watch a lot of football, even when I'm watching rivals, with kind of an angle, like I want a certain team to win. Or, and I get enjoyment if it goes a certain way. Even international football, which I don't really watch a lot of, again, you more often than not maybe the side you want to win. Otherwise, you can just enjoy those matches for what they are. And that's the same for other games as well. But I think these moments are actually quite rare. I think more often than not, you're watching football with this kind of competitive tension. And I sort of wonder whether there is space for something like this, which is quite fun, that raises money, whether it be for charity or again for the football pyramid, and actually allows you to just enjoy the sport for what it is, allows you to watch these great players coming together and, having a great football match and putting on a spectacle and just enjoying it for what it is. And yeah, maybe there's a team you want to win more than the other, but you're not getting overly hyped into it. And I think for that reason alone, there is room for a little bit more fun in football. There's room for a little bit more. You got these players who are super talented. Let's enjoy them for their talents, not just for the competition. Competition is what makes it dramatic and exciting and interesting. But yeah, I just wonder whether there's a little bit of room for something like that. So we're going to build our North and South 11, and I think if we were to have something in the way I've just described that's fun, that's charitable, that raises money for all the right reasons, I think you'd have to get all the clubs in the Premier League on board. I think the only way you're going to get all the clubs on board is if there's a degree of representation for all of them. Now, there have been some great videos. James Walcott's done one on his channel where he did just the North and South 11, but then he also limited himself in, when he rebuilt the teams, with doing 2 players per team. That, I think, is a great concept. Go check out that video. And a few others have done their versions of it. We've seen it on Sky Sports, everyone on social media. People are engaged in this discussion debate, which is what makes it so fun. But I think if this were to actually go ahead, if this were to really happen, let's say the Community Shield weekend was scrapped, and you had this game instead to kind of kick off the season, all the Premier League clubs coming together at Wembley to kick off the season and almost promote and advertise the Premier League product and raise money for charity, all of them there, representatives, players, all that there, to kind of launch it. And then the Community Shield becomes a Super Cup, and that's played in a midweek evening, a bit like the European Super Cup is. I think in that way it could work, but again, there'd have to be representation from every team. So, a match where you've got your 10 most northern teams versus your 10 most southern teams, but there's got to be at least one player from every single team, and that's what I'm going to try and do today in this video. I think that way it'd feel like you're really launching the Premier League, that way it'd feel like there's representation for all of them, and then you'd have, obviously, I know what you're thinking, there's 11 players, 10 teams, you could have one wild card, and you'd have a bench with maybe at most one extra player from each club. So I think that could be a lot of fun. So let's try and build it here with those restrictions and limitations I've just put in. So let's just remind ourselves of who the northern teams would be in this current Premier League side. Now, it's actually some of the Midland sides, I had to sort of look up whether they'd rank north or south, and I don't want anyone to take this overly seriously, Some would consider themselves north, some would consider themselves south. Again, I just went with the Sky Sports model of taking the most north clubs and then the 10 most southern clubs. So, in the north, we have, in the south, I managed to get these the wrong way around. Let's start with in the north. We've got Manchester City, Man United, Liverpool, Leeds, Newcastle, Wolves, Everton, Villa, Forest, and Leicester. And then, in the south, we've got Arsenal, Tottenham, Brighton, Chelsea, Brentford, Fulham, Southampton, Bournemouth, Palace, and West Ham. So those are how the teams have been split here. Let's get into it. So I'm going to start with the north, and I'm going to go with the goalkeeper, Dean Henderson. Oh, let's just fix that because you're going to want to see their faces. Here we go. Dean Henderson is in goal for the North. What I did with a lot of these is I kind of, with all due respect, looked at the weaker sides in the Premier League and thought, well, who are their best players who can really come in and mix it up with your better players from the better clubs. So I went with Dean Henderson there. Then at right back, I've gone for Matty Cash at Aston Villa. I like him. I think I can't really speak for how he's been doing recently, but over the couple of years I've watched him in the Premier League, I like him. He's good on the ball. He's got a good cross on him. He's up and down. Good player. He is my right back, and that is our Aston Villa representative. Then at centre back, I've gone for Rafael Varane from Manchester United. Now you're probably thinking about all their other players: Christian Eriksen, Bruno Fernandes, Marcus Rashford, Cristiano Ronaldo. But I've gone for Rafael Varane. I like him a lot. And I know he's not been brilliant for Man United, but you can see how much better they are when they have him at the back. They're clearly more reassured. They clearly have a little bit of leadership there. Then at Everton, I really struggled, but I'm going for Connor Cody to partner Varane at centre-back. Again, I was flirting with the idea of Onana in midfield, potentially as the Everton representative, Calvert-Lewin up front, but I've gone for Cody. I think they're quite strong at centre-back. Could easily have also been Tarkowski, but that's what I've gone for. I've gone for Cody at the back with Varane and Cash, and then left-back, and it's my Leicester representative, James Justin. With James Justin, I think he's a very good player. Could play right back and left back. You could easily play him right back and have Lucas Digne at left back. That's an option. Now let's go to midfield. And at the very base, my Leeds player, Marc Roca. Look, he'd played for Bayern Munich. He was playing in Spain before that. It clearly didn't work for Bayern, but he's clearly a very talented player. I haven't seen much of him at Leeds, but I've got to believe there's talent there. And I was struggling for other Leeds players that I definitely wanted to bring in. And then let's bring in my other midfielder, and it's Thiago from Liverpool. I just love this guy, and any chance I get to put him into a team, he is absolutely getting in it. Let's just shuffle everyone back a little bit to make a little bit of room for the forwards. So we've got Roca, Thiago, and then, again, there's no team without this guy, Kevin De Bruyne. I just had to. I had to because I think he's the best player in the Premier League. Could it be Haaland? I think Haaland needs to do a little bit more still, although he started bloody well. But I think he's the best player in the league, Kevin De Bruyne, and he would get into my north side, absolutely. And that's quite a midfield, Thiago, Roca and De Bruyne. Then we move into the front three. In either wing, I've got Pedro Neto, who I just think decent with his right foot, but brilliant with his left foot, can play on either flank, is a goal threat, can create as well. I love him. When Arsenal linked with him, I really wanted us to get him. We didn't get him, but he's a top player. Really like him. And then Saint-Maximin, the Newcastle player, out on the left. And then my wild card for the North, I've gone for Erling Haaland up front. So that is my Northern team. Let's make these a little bit bigger so you can see. There we go. That is my Northern 11. And, what I would say is there's other players, for example, I wonder whether you get Van Dijk in there, at centre-back, and maybe you get Eriksen in the team over Thiago, but I think Varane-Thiago is a better balance. Other players, when I was going through the Wolves players, there's a lot there. You take Neves. That's the other thing. You could maybe do Neves instead of Roca in the midfield, and then in the front three, you've got someone, maybe you put Aronson out on the left, maybe you Sinistera, I don't know, Jack Harrison. But I just thought Neto, Haaland, Saint-Maximin's a very good front three, and they'll cause problems. When you look at the Southern front three in a sec, you'll understand why I sort of wanted to go with as strong front three as possible. But that is my team North. Now, guys, I dedicated about half an hour's thought to this. I could definitely have come up with different pairings, different combinations. I want to know yours in the comment section. Again, is there a way? I'm not convinced. I feel like I could have done something more in midfield. With all due respect to Roca, could I have done something else? I don't know. You let me know. Now we're going to go to Team South. In goal, Bernd Leno. There are a few Fulham players I could have gone with. But, Mitrovic, for example, Palhinha, but I've gone for Leno. And I think he's still a top goalkeeper. Then we go to right back. And I've gone for Kyle Walker-Peters. I really like him, I can't speak for how he did quite at Tottenham. But Southampton, I've always liked him. Adventurous, gets forward, exciting player. Then at the back, I've gone for William Saliba. Is it too soon to maybe get him in the team over players like Thiago Silva or whatever? Yeah, almost definitely. But you know what? We're having fun, so we'll leave it. But I like Thiago Silva. I like Thiago Silva a lot, yes. But I just think William Saliba is an absolute rock. And then the Bournemouth representative at centre back alongside him, Lloyd Kelly. Look, this is a little bit of a Football Manager one. I'm not going to pretend it isn't. He's a very highly rated young ball playing centre back. Obviously a part of their side that got promoted, and I'm not, with all due respect to Bournemouth, I'm not sure there's many other players I'd want in the team. Maybe Solanke, maybe Lerma, but I'm going for Kelly. And their left back, the Brentford representative, Rico Henry. And that's my back four. Again, the likes of Ivan Toney are options, sure, but that's the back four: Walker Peters, Saliba, Kelly, and Rico Henry. Then we go into midfield. And you know what? We can bring everyone back a little bit just to give them some room. Declan Rice. I wanted to find a way to maybe get Lucas Paqueta in this team, but I couldn't. Maybe if another Brighton player, Basuma, was still there at Brighton, then I could have done that. But instead, I've gone for this Brighton player, Alexis McAllister, who I've been really impressed in this season. Had that great goal chalked off. And I just like him. Very gifted player. Works hard as well. He's in midfield alongside Rice and Martin Odegaard. That is right. I've used my trump card, my wild card, on another Arsenal player because I'm biased. So get over it. Listen, and it could have been. It could have been, for example, Son and Kane. It could have been Thiago Silva and Sterling or whatever. But no, I've gone for Martin Odegaard. I just think, I think he deserves to be in this team. The question is maybe whether Saliba is brought out for another more experienced player who we've seen a little bit more time, a little bit more time of them in the Premier League. For example, Christian Romero, Tottenham fans would call for. But I don't want to get more than one Spurs player in there. So yeah. I'm being petty about it. Can you tell? On the right, Raheem Sterling. Let's get him in there. Up front, Harry Kane. And then on the left, Wilfred Zaha. My Palace representative. Could have been, again, Palace had a lot of players I could have gone for. You know, I could have gone for Eze. I could have maybe found a way to get Elise in there. Anderson. At one point, I actually had Anderson at centre-back and Martinelli on the left wing, but I thought, how can you deny Zaha? So that's it, guys. Those are the two teams. That's my North and South. And again, the reason I've done it, just reiterated before, is I think if this were to work, if this were to actually be taken on, and we were to live in a world where the Premier League were to start the season, you know, the weekend before with an exhibition match, an All-Stars game, it wouldn't really be All-Stars to be fair, but a North versus South, you know, one player from each team representing their club. What would be quite cool is you could almost have all the kits, so the same colour by the same mate with the same sponsor, but then you change each crest. So it could say North and then Man United, North and then the Liverpool crest, and it would just be coloured out in red. That could be quite fun. I think you could do some interesting things around this. And as I said, I think there's room for more fun like this in football. I really do believe that. But I think if it were to work, as I said, and it to be an actual viable thing that we have, that we can all enjoy, I think all clubs have to get on board with it. And I think for them to get on board with it, you'd have to have a situation in which they all feel represented. So yeah, that's how I think it could work. And those would be my teams if it were to work that way. If you're quickly picking a manager, go on, Mick Arteta. You can have the South. And Team North, Jurgen Klopp. I think Klopp would edge it over Pep for one game. Also, I think he'd really enjoy this kind of thing. Well, so would Pep, to be fair. Well, Pep versus Arteta, that would be good. Anything else I want to go through, just having a little look? I don't think so. But yeah, those are the teams. Let me know in the comment section what your team would be. Remember, one player from each team, but you get one wild card. So I've gone for Arsenal with Odegaard and Saliba, and I've gone for De Bruyne and Haaland for Manchester City. You let me know what your wild cards would be, what your 11s would be, and don't forget to check out my JB Shorts channel as well. That's where I'm reacting to lots of stuff. For example, the Chelsea game last night, wasn't able to get a video out like I did for the Liverpool Ajax game, but you'll get my 1 minute take on there, as well as TikTok and Instagram as well. Hope you've enjoyed this, guys. I've really enjoyed it. It's a bit of fun. Look, could it really happen? Would you like it to happen? Again, you let me know in the comment section. I'm not desperate for it, but it's a little bit of fun. I could get on board with it. Let me know if you could as well. All right, we'll catch you on the next one. Many thanks. See you next time.